So we try to think about, first of all, the different levels of the students. And initially this can be to do with actually the kind of things you would find on the beach. You know, things that students at a lower level, the things students would find. Perhaps maybe what they can see, what they can hear, what they can smell, thinking about the senses. And then things and objects we use on the beach. But I think Catherine is getting out covered.
In my organised way.
Yes, in your organised way of teaching. Yeah, of course, in the cupboard. So we have...
In my secret.
Yeah. So we have objects we would maybe use on the beach, buckets and spades and deck chairs and windbreakers. And Catherine's going to bring a box out, and other bits and pieces. Okay, so the students aren't being told what these things are, they're exploring them, they're sharing them in their group, they're looking at them, they're thinking about what they might be used for. Okay, I'll let you continue with this bit because this is your...
Yeah, but I think it's nice to... The advantage we have, obviously, being in the country, is that we can bring our entire house and garden and garage into the classroom.
And everything we own,
really. Our props. So it's quite a fun thing to start out with something like this. You hold that in front, which we can open up around the students and have them sitting there holding it and ask them what they think it's for. And we get various ideas. Usually, eventually, we come up with what it's actually for. So Kirsty's already told you what it's called. What is this for? Yeah, so it's for breaking the wind. Be careful how you say that, don't you? Yeah, it's for stopping the wind, but of course we get lovely ideas, which are also true, that it's for changing behind. Yeah, make yourself a little changing room on the beach. Can you hold that?
Yes, of course.
For keeping the sun off you, so to create shade, so you can generate a little vocabulary with that. I'm going to give you that, Kirsten.
Thank you. Then we can also have things like unravel and colours and patterns and stripes. You know,
lots of language.
Yeah, lots of language.
This one, which everyone tells me is a surfboard, it's not a surfboard. Does anyone know what it is? Bodyboard. You got a bodyboard? Board. Yeah. It's actually called a skimmer, which is another nice language one. What I like to do is get the students to look at what it's made of. Wood. Yeah, because surfboards are not made of wood now. They used to be, of course, in the past. This one is made of wood, and it's called a skimmer. So the word skim is a nice one. Some students have come across it in its generic meaning of sliding on the surface. Others have come across it with skim reading. Quite often in class when I talk about skim reading, they've heard that expression. So we talk about what skim means, and then how it works. I have offered to lend it to students before when they've gone to the beach. Because if you've never seen a skimmer on the beach, they're very useful because you don't need waves. For surfing you need waves, don't you? But for this, all you need is a little bit of water, and it goes this way across the beach. So the sea is here, the beach is here, it goes sideways along. So what you do is you run. And you slide, yeah, you skim. And the reason there are so many scratches on this is because my German Shepherd likes to skim. I even have a video of it, but I'm not sure.
Oh, you should have done that.
In case you're wondering, though, what you do with all this vocabulary, because it's great to bring out the bag with the snorkel and the skimmer and all these other beach objects, but just having vocabulary is not very helpful in itself. So one of the things I like to do, you can get them to do little role plays, act out a scene on the beach, and they have to include at least 5 words, for example. But the other thing I like to do, even with students who are only A1, A2, is write a poem. So we write a poem with the vocabulary. Each student gets a prop, so each person actually gets an object in their hands, and then I put them into pairs, and they have to create 2 lines of a poem which rhyme and include that vocabulary, and they have all managed to do it. So
challenging.
Yeah, so little fun things, but actually using the vocabulary in context is important as well.
Fantastic.
So, the sea.
Sorry, I was there once again. Fantastic. So, again, sort of developing upon the levels, when we come to an intermediate level, when we're maybe looking at about B1, the students are beginning to look at jokes that are associated with the sea. Okay, you can see one here. We've got here, what did the Atlantic Ocean say to the Pacific Ocean? Nothing, it just waved. And, you know, we're looking maybe at
bad jokes.
nothing, really, yeah. So, you know, where does seaweed look for a job? In the kelp wanted at.
That's a high level.
I know, maybe not this. And kelp wanted, so kelp being seaweed, another word for seaweed, so they're kind of, you know, so what we sort of do is we give them one part of the joke and they are having to match different parts of the jokes together. But in doing that, they're learning some of the language that's related to the sea. So that works quite well as well.
The one in the middle is, yeah, just, I like to look at idioms, because I'm sure you're aware a lot of idioms in English come from the sea or navy, nautical connections. We have a lot of expressions which, even as I say to the students, the host families will use these expressions, but they don't know the connection. Even something as simple as feeling blue. That a lot of students will recognise that feeling blue means feeling sad, but they don't know why. Does anyone here know why? Right. The reason is because in the past, when a ship lost its captain at sea, when the ship returned to port, it would fly blue flags. So the colour blue was associated with something sad. So there are lots of idioms, obviously depending on the student's level, choose which ones to use. And we do a little bit of dialogue writing with idioms in. And to finish with, this is usually a popular one, we sing What Would We Do with a Drunken Sailor? Which is a sea shanty, which is also, of course, connected with the whole sea culture in the UK. That we have songs, this is a working song, so that the sailors on the ships would be working in time as they sang the chorus, pulling the ropes. And Leanna sang it with us, I believe.
And
so,
they sing it for days after, on the bus, and walking around town, and walking between classes, and stomping up and down the corridor, which is great fun, but they do remember it. Yeah, they definitely do remember it. Okay. Yes.